Hi everyone! Today we're going to be making this very easy crochet beach bag or market bag using the shell stitch. And for our beach bag, I am working with the Lion brand yarns Re-Up Recycled Cotton and Polyester Blend yarn. And this is a size 4 medium weight yarn, and we will not need the full 651 yards in this skein, but I did come up with a fun little gift set using this entire skein. So if you're interested, please check the links in the description for the other projects in this series and to see how I throw it all together to make a really inexpensive but thoughtful gift for your loved ones. And I am working with a size G or 6 or 4 1/4 of a millimeter crochet hook. But if you don't have a crochet hook of this exact size, just get as close as you can. And we're going to begin by attaching the yarn to our crochet hook using a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 25. And once you have your 25 chains in place, then I want you to turn your work, and we're going to skip our first 2 chains and then place 1 double crochet in the back loop only of our 3rd chain. And the back loop is just the loop furthest away from you when you're looking at your stitch. And from here, we just want to place 1 double crochet in the back loop only of each stitch in our row for a total of 23 double crochets. And when you get to the end of your row, I want you to turn your work toward your starting tail like this so that you can work in these front loops only that we have left over from our chain row. And from here, we are going to place 1 double crochet in our first front loop. And you do have the option of crocheting over your tail if you would like to, by just lining it up with your loops and working right over it like it's part of your stitch. And from here, we are just going to place 1 double crochet in each of our front loops going back down our row. And this is going to create a large oval like this. And when you make it to the end of your row, go ahead and count your stitches going around like this, including your little chain 2. And sometimes you will have 48 stitches, which is good. That's what we want. It just really depends on how you work your stitches right here at the turn. Sometimes we end up adding an additional one here. If for some reason you don't have 48 stitches, it's not a problem. Just go ahead and add 1 more double crochet to your last front loop. So from here, what we're going to do is skip our chain 2 in our first double crochet, and right here in the gap between our first and second double crochet, we're going to place 3 double crochets. So right here. And if you need to, you can mark this first stitch with a stitch marker, scrap piece of yarn, or safety pin. From here, we are going to skip our next 2 double crochets and then place 3 double crochets in the gap between our second and third double crochet. So you're not working in the top portion of your stitch, but instead you're working in the gap between your stitches. And from here, we're just going to repeat that process, skipping our next 2 double crochets and then placing our 3 double crochets. So we're going to repeat this going around our row, and when we get done, we should have a total of 72 double crochets in the round. And when you get near the end of your row, you can see we have our last 2 double crochets, and then we have our chain 2 and our first double crochet. And of course, this is our first 3 double crochets right here. So we want to place our 3 double crochets right here next to our first set of 3 double crochets. And this is sort of where we began our row. So now your bag should look something like this. And we're just going to build on this oval pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip our set of 3 double crochets. And for this row, we're going to be working in these gaps between these 3 double crochets like this. So we're going to start our row by skipping these first 3 double crochets, and in our gap, we're going to place 4 double crochets. Then we're going to skip our next 3 double crochets, and you should already have a gap here, and we're going to place 4 double crochets again. So we're just going to repeat this pattern going around our row, working in these gaps and placing 4 double crochets. And if you would like, you can go ahead and mark the first stitch of your row with a stitch marker if you need to. And when you get to the end of this row, you should have a total of 96 double crochets. And make sure that you work in the gap between your last set of 3 double crochets and your first set of 4 double crochets with your 4 double crochets. From here, we are going to skip these shell stitches or these clumps of 4 double crochets, and we're going to work in the gaps between our shell stitches or clumps like this, and we're just going to place 4 double crochets in each of these gaps to create new rows of shell stitches. So we're going to continue to work this as a spiral. So at the end of each row, you should have a total of 24 shell stitches or 96 double crochets, depending on how you want to count it. And we want to repeat this process until we have a total of 20 rows of our shell stitches here. So when you get to 20 rows on both sides, go ahead and lay your bag down flat using the natural folds at the very end of your bag as a guide like this. And you're just going to crochet to that next fold. So we want to shrink the top of this bag down a little bit, and so in order to do that, we are going to place a row where we place 3 double crochets in each of our gaps between our shell stitches. So go ahead and repeat this going around your row, and when you get done, you should have a total of 72 double crochets. And in the last gap before the end of your row, I want you to place 3 single crochets to sort of taper off our spiral. And from here, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we are going to place 1 single crochet in these first 6 stitches. And once you have your 6 single crochets in place, then we're going to start to join our handles. So what I want you to do is locate the side of your handles that has the stitches. So this is sort of the outside of your handles. We want to turn this over so that we can easily see our stitches here. And from here, we are going to slide our crochet hook up underneath the next stitch on our bag, and then up underneath one of the stitches of our handles here. And then we're going to yarn over and pull up through our handles in our bag, and then yarn over and drop 2 loops for a joining single crochet. From here, we are going to work up underneath the next stitch on both our handles and our bag and place another joining single crochet. And we want to place these joining single crochet stitches until we have a total of 24 joining single crochet stitches. And once you've placed your 24 joining single crochets, then your handle should be attached like this. From here, we're going to place 1 single crochet in our next 12 stitches on our bag. Once you have your 12 single crochets in place, then it's time to join our other handle. So again, make sure the side where you have all of your stitches is facing up, and we're just going to slide our crochet hook up underneath our bag and then up underneath our handle. And we're just going to start to place those 24 joining single crochet stitches. And after joining your second handle, then your bag should look something like this. From here, we're going to place 1 single crochet in our next 6 stitches. Once you have your 6 single crochets in place, you should be where we sort of began to work our handles right here. And what we're going to do is just place a slip stitch in the top of this first single crochet to join our row. From here, we're going to cut and tie off our yarn. And I am going to hide my tail by weaving it in the direction that I was crocheting for a few stitches and then down the inside of my bag. So now you have fully attached your handles and your market bag should look something like this. And if this video helped you, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, Crochet with Julie. Every week I release free crochet patterns on my blog and then crochet tutorial videos to correspond with those. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.